Italy became this? A nation that defined modern football, built on football legacy, elite-level dominance, tactical intelligence, and big game mentality. Now, watching the World Cup from home. Again. And here's the thing. This isn't just football evolution, because while the game moved forward, Italy somehow moved backwards. A country known for generational talent and one of the strongest football cultures in history suddenly looks lost in the bigger picture. So this isn't about one result. It's about identity, because when a giant forgets who they are, the fall hits different. Italy, four-time world champion, out of another World Cup. Again. And in modern football, where football evolution is supposed to make giants even stronger, this doesn't look like evolution. It looks like something broke. This is a nation built on football legacy, on elite-level dominance, on a football culture of tactical intelligence, game awareness, and pure big game mentality. Teams feared them, respected them, and now, no one even sees them on the biggest stage. So forget what happened today. The real question is, when did a country full of generational talent lose itself? Because if you look at the bigger picture, this didn't start now, because it just doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. You grow up watching Italy as this untouchable force in football culture, a team that didn't just play the game, they controlled it. In modern football, where everything is faster and more chaotic, Italy was always the calm in the storm. Pure tactical intelligence, pure game awareness. There was always that feeling. You could be the better team, you could dominate possession, create chances, but somehow Italy would still win. That's big game mentality. That's elite-level mentality. It wasn't luck, it wasn't random. It was built into their DNA, part of their football legacy. And that's why this hits different. Because when something so consistent, so reliable, suddenly disappears, it bothers you. You don't just accept it, you question it. And the more you think about it, the more it feels like something deeper changed, something that goes way beyond results. There was a time when Italy didn't just win. They defined what winning looked like. The Catenaccio wasn't just a tactic, it was a statement. In a world still adapting to football evolution, Italy was already operating with absurd tactical intelligence and next-level game awareness. They didn't need to dominate the ball, they dominated the moment. And then you look at the names: Paolo Maldini, Francesco Totti, Andrea Pirlo. This wasn't just talent. This was generational talent shaping the identity of a nation. Players who understood pressure, who embraced it. That's big game mentality at the highest level. Not just playing football, but controlling the entire narrative of the game. That Italy didn't hope to win. They expected it. That's what made their football legacy so heavy, so respected across every football culture in the world. You didn't face Italy thinking maybe, you faced them knowing it would be a war. And once you understand how strong that identity was, it makes what came next even harder to process. And even after all that history, all that football legacy, Italy missed the 2018 FIFA World Cup. Just like that. In a world driven by modern football and constant football evolution, it felt impossible. But it happened. At first, it looked like a one-time failure, a bad cycle, maybe a lack of generational talent, something they would fix quickly, because that's what elite-level teams do. They adjust, they respond, they come back stronger. That's the expectation when you have that kind of football culture, that kind of big game mentality. But then it happened again. No Italy in the 2022 FIFA World Cup. How can a team go from the top of European football culture to completely missing the biggest tournament in the world? It's like watching two different realities at the same time. One Italy that looks reborn, and another that looks completely lost. And that's the contradiction no one can fully explain. And once you see that, you start looking for answers in a very different place. So what actually happened? People will throw in modern football, where football evolution demands constant adaptation. Small mistakes don't explain a collapse like this. Maybe it's identity. Maybe somewhere along the way, Italy lost that balance between tactical intelligence and instinct. Because having structure is one thing, but knowing when to break it, when to feel the game, that's game awareness at the highest level. And that's not something you rebuild overnight. Qualifiers, even in games you're supposed to win. And when you look at the bigger picture, it starts to feel like the issue isn't just how Italy plays, but but how they see themselves now. Because the truth is, teams don't just fall apart overnight. It doesn't happen in one game, one coach, one decision. In modern football, quieter, almost invisible at first. It's when the football culture starts to shift, when the identity that once defined your elite level disappears piece by piece. The tactical intelligence is still there, the structure is still there, but something feels off. The game awareness isn't the same, the reactions aren't as sharp, and the big game mentality slowly fades without anyone noticing. And one day, you look at that team, that football legacy, and you don't recognize it anymore. Not because it's gone completely, but because it's no longer dominant, no longer feared. And when you finally realize it, it might already be too late to go back. So now it comes down to this. What really happened to Italy? Not just tactically, not just technically, but in terms of identity, in terms of football culture, in terms of how a giant sees itself in modern football. Because when a team with that kind of football legacy, that history of elite-level performance, stops showing up, it forces a bigger question. Is this just a phase in football evolution, or is it something deeper, something that changes everything? And more importantly, can a nation that once defined tactical intelligence, game awareness, and big game mentality actually find its way back? Or are we watching in real time the slow end of one of the greatest stories football has ever seen? In modern football, things don't collapse overnight. They fade. And when you finally notice that elite level, that football legacy, it's already different. That's the bigger picture most people miss. Italy isn't just losing games. It's what happens when football evolution moves forward, and something inside doesn't. The tactical intelligence is there, the game awareness too, but it doesn't feel the same. And then one day, it just doesn't look like Italy anymore. And when you think about it, that's when the question really hits. Anyway, if this made you see football differently, you already know what to do.